it's done. We are here with TongFu vs EHOME, game number 2. My name is Sheever. I am here with TriumphOfMan. Welcome to each other's broadcast.
Oh yes, so happy to be here, Sheever.
Yeah.
God, long last, we have broadcaster slots. How good does this feel? I am over the moon. But game 2, TongFu vs EHOME, and Sheever, my God, were TongFu in fine form that first match.
Yeah, that was just ruthless. I'm curious to see if EHOME is going to ban out something different this time, for example a Templar Assassin, or is just going to make sure they pick up maybe the Venomancer as their support this time, because they need something in case there's going to be a surprise pick, although this time TongFu doesn't have a last pick, so that they would be a bit more prepared there. I'm kind of curious to see what EHOME is going to do for this game. And if TongFu is going to go for a surprise pick or for a surprise strategy, again, of course it started out very standard and then a Templar Assassin pickup, maybe we're going to see a surprise again. I hope so. I go for Pudge.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Dandy hooks all around. I honestly, I have never seen, I don't think I've seen any of the Chinese teams play Pudge, so I don't know.
It's a shame, but they probably won't, but it would be nice to watch. I have to give something to the viewers. Hooks are always good to watch.
We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. But they are banning TongFu, getting rid of some of the heavy pushers. Of course, Lycan getting banned almost every single match. Although EG yesterday managed to get 2 matches in a row, pretty much, where they got Lycan out. That was weird as all hell. Oh. But this time around, TongFu banning Lycan, banning the Nature's Prophet. Also, Darkseer and Naga Siren. Once again, I would not be shocked to see. Actually, Leshrac also getting banned. He's been one of those heroes. He really is a Flavor of the Month hero. Just so popular. He is the new Windrunner, to be dead honest. Just gets picked so frequently because he's just got such a flexible role that he can fill. And there we go, Sheever. Look at that lone druid, man.
Yeah, and rightfully so. They don't want to have to deal with that again. And I just have to change my title for my stream so that the right game shows up. Cool. Okay.
Turn to pick.
So, what do we still have in Morphling? First pick, seriously? TongFu. Nice. I mean, Morphling first pick,
okay.
We have seen it before, kinda, but that was not in the, I haven't seen it, not in the international at least, but last couple of weeks. Morphling has been that, like you said, Flavor of the Month, being picked up in the first 3 at least, but for a first pick, it's just, yeah, surprising. And Rubik actually making it through the draft, so EHOME will pick that one up in combination with an Invoker. So having that secure the solo lane as well, and looking good for that at least. Yeah, already a good start for EHOME, but as well for TongFu. They already give away their strategy though. They give away what they want to do with this. They're gonna go for a hard carry for late game, and gonna probably get a hero with it with the level 6 ultimate that they can use to get some pressure elsewhere. Heroes like Brewmaster, Tidehunter, Night Stalker, Bounty Hunter. There's a lot of heroes. Storm Spirit, a lot of heroes that would work with the Morphling. Chaos Knight. Now I have to have them all. I think one of those will be picked up. What do you reckon?
Definitely possible. I'm just. I find it really interesting that TongFu went balls to the wall. Just went, you know what, hard carry, let's just grab it straight away. Yeah. Generally speaking, they don't normally grab the hard carry straight away, especially, this is like really interesting, that they went for it this quickly. Maybe they were worried about EHOME grab it, but they really just wanted to keep it out of EHOME's hands. It was more of a sort of, it's not so much a pick, it's more of a ban just to keep it away from EHOME, because they do run Lanam is a very, very nasty Morphling. Yeah. Although I'm hoping to see a push lineup from EHOME, because to be honest, they were one of the initial Chinese teams to really start pushing really, really hard, rather than just sort of doing the whole, oh no, it's the Chinese teams, they're going to turtle for 40 minutes before they actually play the game. But no, EHOME have been really aggressive in the past, and I would like to see a super aggressive lineup out of them, Sheever.
Yeah, and it's in for TongFu, it is indeed a Tidehunter, so they're going to put on some pressure when he gets to level 6, with a Chen being picked up as well, making me think that Tidehunter is maybe going to be either solo lane or supporting that Morphling, and EHOME replying with an anti-mage. Anti-mage versus Morphling. Battle of the carries. Which one will win? I do think I favor Morphling in this case, purely because he's able to join teamfights earlier than the Anti-mage is. Of course, later game Anti-mage is able to farm a lot faster than Morphling is. I'm hoping for EHOME to pick up some sort of teamfight still, because otherwise they can't really compete with TongFu because of that teamfight potential. But Anti-mage versus Morphling. It's
going to be definitely.
It's a classic.
Yeah. Sorry?
It's a classic.
It definitely is. Yeah, anti-mage morphing always just going toe to toe. I remember DK versus EHOME. Anti-mage versus morphing is just so they love these huge carry battles. So we could be in for some huge buyback wars if this goes to late game. But speaking of team fight, I mean they've got the Invoker there. They could potentially go for the Class Wex build, which is very team fight oriented. Of course, they have Rubik, who can steal some nasty, can steal some really powerful team fight spells. Although Tidehunter's Ravage is one of the harder ones to get his hands on, but just because if he's in range to steal it, he's likely getting hit by the Ravage, and then Tidehunter just has to make sure he anchor smashes after to keep it away from Rubik. But if he can get his hands on something like Hand of God, that would be huge. And of course, when you're playing Rubik up against the Morphling, he can become ridiculously tanky. Like we saw yesterday a lot of the Rubiks just picking up stuff like Vitality Boosters just to stay alive during fights, because this is going to make his team very, very resilient. Like even TongFu, their AoE team fight is not going to be that good just because Rubik is going to be there with the null field. Anti-mage is pretty much, you've got to hit him with physical damage or he's not going to go down because he's got both the spell shield and the null field, making him so difficult to get rid of. And if somebody gets a pipe, well, it's just nukes are not going to work at all.
Yeah, sorry, slightly distracted here for a second, but yeah, you're definitely right. It is, Rubik has a lot of good stuff to steal. Doesn't need to spend as much gold on his tankiness, on his HP than you normally would have, if he managed to steal the morph, of course. And we see TongFu taking their time for their bans, and I don't think that this time there wasn't a penalty on EHOME for their being late, because of course they were on time for game number 2, because they were just still in. And it's gonna be a Venom as a ban out, and I have to say, TongFu has banned out the Leshrac and the Venomancer, two of the most counter heroes for the Templar Assassin. Are we gonna see it again? I mean, it is a hero that at level 6 she will be able to wreak havoc rather, and just put pressure somewhere, force out fights, force out kills. But are we gonna see that again? What do you think? Or are we gonna see it banned?
Well, going for a physical, I think it's plausible. I don't necessarily know if it'll come through, but a physical damage-based lineup would be a good way to get around the whole magic resilience that EHOME are packing. But I don't necessarily know if they'll go for it just because, they do have Morphling, and Morphling, the thing is, if they come under a lot of pressure early, the thing is, with Chen, with Tana, they're just not going to be able to respond to any really early threats if they do come up, if a really aggressive lane busts out against them. But they have banned. The other thing is they've been banning pushes as well. It's not so much necessarily the fact that they can mess up Linnea. I think it's more the fact that they were banning Leshrac and Venomancer because they're two of the better pushing supports, in my opinion.
Yeah. Shadow Demon picked up, so that's the support. So we're going to see Tidehunter solo lane, actually. I think. Tidehunter solo,
or it could
Morphling,
be
Shadow Demon. Well, Morphling. Did we see Morphling solo just now? I think we did, right?
Yeah, Morphling was a solo mid. Like, it could definitely be a solo mid. It's quite possible. Or they could be planning to run him as backup. Like, we've even seen Tidehunters in the offlane. It really depends what he goes up against. It can be difficult for him, but Windrunner is the next pick. Sheever, I think currently at the moment, EHOME are probably looking for another support. They really need one more support to round out that lineup.
Yeah, it really depends on if Rubik is going to be playing a support or not, and they could still pick up the Enigma to go into the jungle if they want, because then they could just have a dual lane anti-mage, Rubik's dual lane, Windrunner, Invoker solo, and then have something like an Enigma in the jungle. And if they don't go for an Enigma, then for a trial lane, they need a team fight, so Enigma would be a good one. Earthshaker, Sand King also in the pool could be picked up by EHOME to complement a trial lane or to have someone in the jungle. They need some form of team fight, otherwise the Tidehunter is gonna force team fights upon them, and you can't count on Rubik stealing those Ravages purely because the Anchor Smash will be there to follow up on the Ravage. It's gonna be a Queen of Pain for TongFu to finish it up, so no Templar Assassin this game, but Queen of Pain, again, one of those heroes, when she's level 6, or level 9 sometimes, she is gonna run around, kill stuff, and just making sure that Morphling can get his free farm, with everybody else having the attention on the rest of the 4 heroes of TongFu. Because if you look at it, Chen, Tidehunter, Shadow Demon, Queen of Pain, 4 heroes, they could take on a team fight by themselves and have a lot of global AoE damage presence at that early levels, and there's not that much that EHOME so far can do against that. They don't have the same things, so the pressure could be on there with Morphling just on the side, able to replicate in if really needed. And of course they're gonna be able, TongFu is gonna pressure it on EHOME, while EHOME has an anti-mage, which is also not gonna be wanting to be part in those team fights. And if you're gonna count a 4 versus 4 with those heroes minus the carries, TongFu is looking really strong.
I think it really depends how the anti-mage builds. Like, we've seen some aggressive AMs where they go for the mana break build, but the Chinese are definitely renowned for their 1-1-1 build, where they just go for 1 level in mana break, 1 level in stats, 1 level in blink and spell shield, obviously get their ult when they can, and they just get stats for a whole bunch of levels, and just try and turtle him up in that way. I think it really depends how turtly that EHOME are planning to play this match, because at the moment, TongFu, they don't have that much push power. They've got the Chen, and that's honestly about it. I don't think with the Morphin that they're going to be planning to try and bull rush that hard against EHOME. It's just not going to be that effective. And they've got some good stall. They've got some good stallers there. You've got Rubik, obviously, can steal some really painful spells against them. And Invoker, I think the main thing is it really comes down to how they're going to play this Invoker, and we really can't tell that until Invoker hits the ground and actually starts skilling up some of his orbs. So at the moment, if he goes for Quace and Wex, he has a lot of team fight potential. But if he goes for the Exhort build, he's a really strong push, and he's also really painful when he ganks as well. Just the high levels in Cold Snap. Also, the fact that damage he can deal out with that Exhort is really, really powerful. But they pick up the Sand King last, and Sheever, you're asking for some team fight, and there it is.
Yep.
Sand King, probably one of the bigger team fight presences.
And a trial lane that is not going to be easy to take down. Anti-Mage, Rubik, as well as the Sand King. I mean, you got Telekinesis, you got a Burst Strike. There's not that much that TongFu can do to really take the fight, unless they're gonna be with 5 there, unless the Tidehunter's level 6 and they're gonna be having a Ravage to help out. But there's a lot of disable coming off from EHOME, so I'm unsure if they're gonna be able to make sure that the anti-mage gets shut down a bit. We're gonna see though. We're gonna see. Shall we go over the players, seeing who's playing what? Because I don't think we did that last.
Alright, sure. Do you want to do that or me?
Well, one team each. You can pick one if you want.
Alright, I'll take TongFu first. Alright, so playing for TongFu. Playing for TongFu on the Radiant side, we have Awoke on the Chen, we have Sansheng playing the Shadow Demon, Mu is on Queen of Pain this time around, Kabu playing Tidehunter, and Hao on the Morphling. Yeah,
for the dire side we have EHOME all rotating towards the bottom lane, well most of them anyway. We've got the Sand King played by QQQ, Cupid Cat is going to be playing the Windrunners, King J is going to be on the Rubik, and we're going to have X playing the Invoker in the mid lane with Anti-Mage by himself, played by Lan. Actually, that would be awkward if there's going to be a trial lane bottom with the Windrunner being the one to farm. If Anti-Mage is going to be solo top, that it would be not what I was expecting. If they're actually going to do that.
I think this is definitely plausible if they're going to do this, just because Anti-Mage is able to look after himself for a bit, as long as he's not under a huge amount of pressure. But it looks like Awoke may actually be planning to do an offensive jump, or they could just be hoping to cause some trouble up here for a second. They find a double damage rune at the top though, Shiva. Looks like they might try and set something on mid, although it looks like King J and QQQ will be heading towards the top lane to support their AM.
Yeah, that's going to be indeed the case. I think they scouted out some of the heroes off TongFu there, knowing that they would be against a trial lane, so they didn't want to leave their Anti-Mage alone versus that, because they want some farm on that guy. They definitely do, which will mean that we'll have Windrunner matched up versus a solo Tidehunter. Tidehunter on a safe lane, normally, I've recently seen Tidehunter on the hard lane played a bit more often, mostly by complexity, Hannah Montana having that signature hero almost all of the time, I have to say. But Windrunner versus Tidehunter, I think Windrunner is going to get the better of that, even though looking at this right now, Kabu getting a lot of harassment. Look at that, Windrunner already having to eat a tango, and Tidehunter just fine. And he's got 6 tangos, he's got a salve, for now he's doing just peachy. Trial versus Trial.
He was waiting to see what he was up against.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was waiting to see, like, he didn't actually start with Windrun, which was interesting. He actually went for Power Shot. But yeah, the tri-lane, Sheever. What's happening up there?
Well, if normally I'm looking for a lane, where am I expecting the first blood? Because you know you don't want to miss the first blood, but because you've got flamed and stuff like that, I think it's gonna be the top lane in this case, and not on one of the carries, because the carries will be versus each other. It's gonna be a support battle, because there's just 2 supports fighting for this neutral creeps as well, and with Chen helping out with Wildkin War Chief, Hao actually leaving his lane to get the creep kills here so that he doesn't miss a single thing. And I am not sure. I think if you have a disruption, a Soul Catcher when Shadow Demon is level 2, which he actually is now, you can get a Penance or a Test of Fate, whichever, a lot of burst damage there. We form over the top, and that is going to be a kill for Hao, if they manage to do that on a support. Especially if Sand King is still level 1.
Naturally, Anti-Mage a little bit too difficult to catch. Of course, Sankey, even though he's got that Burrow Strike to move around, of course, at level 1, it is a pathetic 350 units range. It's very difficult. The bottom lane, they're just quickly ducking down to see how they're farming. It's 3-0 for Tidehunter versus 4-0 for the Windrunner. So they're actually doing pretty even there at the moment. Tidehunter is being a huge bully. Every time Windrunner tries to get close, whenever Sterling tries to move in there, he just moves up and threatens with that Anchor Smash. But at the moment, Morphling is farming stronger than the Anti-Mage, 11-2 versus 8-0.
Yeah, and that's kind of to be expected, but at some point Anti-Mage, when he gets his Battle Fury, he'll make that turnaround, and it will be land that will farm a lot faster than How on his Morphling. If he indeed gets the farm up to do that, of course. Because that's going to be his quest. And that tornado is just so annoying. Look at that HP for Anti-Mage, and he gets slowed. He can't get a range for the last hit. He's just kiting it around the tower, but slowly still dropping more, and that Wildskin is far from done. 10 seconds left on the tornado, and he's just being forced out of experience range. Still has 2 salves, just got one from his teammate, but he's gonna be forced to use them regardless. Now the salve gets used.
I've just noticed that Rubik hasn't actually leveled his skill as of yet. I was thinking he was skulking around the jungle, hoping he could get in behind and actually pick up that Wild can actually basically stop it from channeling the Whirlwind. But in the end, we did have Sanshing hanging around there trying to make sure he couldn't get near the Wildkin to prevent that. And yeah, you're right, that Wildkin Warchief, the tornado is so painful. I really like what Chen's doing. Often see, looks like it might be, no, he's ducking around the back, decides not to. But it's something we see often in the jungles, harass the mid laners with just pop a Wildkin down in the mid lane and harass the enemy mid lane by using that tornado. So annoying. It's kind of like a free Radiance just chasing around. But Sanshing actually diving through the trees there, cuts his way through, throws down a disruption, and this is why the Shadow Demon is so good against Anti-Mage. He spawns those 2 illusions, would then hit Anti-Mage and drain mana. And of course makes that mana burn work against him.
And even though it's only 1 hit before Anti-Mage blinks away, it's still a lot of mana being burned, because Anti-Mage's mana pool isn't that big. So it's a very tough thing for Anti-Mage to deal with, and at some point he won't be able to blink away, and then there will be initiation and he'll die. It's that simple.
And even just forcing the blink drains another good 60 mana. There is How now in a bit of trouble. They are going to try and chase him out. He should be just fine though. Chen is busy heading towards the jungle. He's actually in the middle of the Dire jungle, just picking up some few extra creep. I think he's decided he wants a few different ones there. But it looks like they might actually try and dive on top of How. Know that it's going to cause some damage. And at the moment, How still not getting out farmed by the Anti-Mage. The Anti-Mage is definitely under a lot of pressure. Mostly it just comes down to the jungle pressure from Chen. The other thing I like about this top lane Sheever is the fact that because Chen's ducking away to jungle every now and then, they're really splitting the experience better, and How and Sanshing are going to benefit more than the 2 Dire supports from EHOME at the moment.
Yeah, and it looks like middle lane might be in some trouble. I'm not sure why Anti-Mage is going to continue going there as well. We're going to go there. Ward is there, so they get spotted out. It's actually middle lane that is looking pretty good for the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain 26 for 8 with the Invoker 7 for 4, so really not getting that much done. And he has got a Blades attack to help with the right click damage. Wow, Queen of Pain, he has a Sonic Wave. She wants to go for that, doesn't want to though. No bottle charges to help her get back afterwards if she was able to get the successful gank, successful kill. And here comes support in from the Invoker as well. And he actually gets Tango so that he can regen a bit faster again. But this middle lane,
I like the Queen of Pain has gone. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, it's just heavily in favor of Queen of Pain. That's just my my point.
Yeah, well, I like the build she's gone. Often we see the Queen of Pain's open with a 2 levels in Shadowstrike. Yeah. This game, she's actually gone, you know what, I don't need to, there's no point going for the 2 levels in Shadowstrike because it's a Quaswex Invoker, which means he has a lot of health regen. So she's very hard to harass with the Shadowstrike. So it's basically just gone, you know what, to kill this guy, I need burst damage. So she's gone for the extra level in Sonic Scream instead. So she's got that extra burst there just to try and drill him down if they do go for a gank. But Sheever in the top lane, Anti-Mage is really struggling at the moment. He's getting hammered back. Even though he's picked up a poor man shield. In fact, he's gone for Boots of Tranquility, just trying to help him out. That's Burrow Strike in. Who are they trying to pick on there? It's Sanshing. There's Telekinesis. Doesn't actually move him back. The disruption to try and take down Anti-Mage, keep him off himself, but he does get taken out for the first blood. In the end, just too much damage there from Rubik as well as that Sand King.
Yeah, and in the meantime, bottom lane, it was a gank going on, or at least a dive. It was the Windrunner that died, with the Tidehunter picking up the kill, so having the advantage in the lane. On last hits, he was already doing pretty good, 17 for 1, with Windrunner having 30 for 11. Okay, Windrunner range for his melee, but still definitely good for a solo Tidehunter, and they might be able to kill off a tier 1 tower here, with the wards, with the creeps helping out, and Tidehunter kiting the creep wave away so that they won't harass the creep wave that is actually trying to kill off the tower. Power shot will do that though. Tower's still alive. Very low HP, 300 HP left, so next push it will go down.
Indeed, looks like they are causing a lot of trouble down there. I'm just checking around though. It looks like Invoker, he's gone for 3 levels in class. He is switching to Wex now. So he's going to have plenty of teamfight potential, and I like that this is going to be pretty painful. This is going to be pretty painful for TongFu, just because they're going to be, with the big tornadoes, he's going to be able to set up Sanking and help him get in, even if he can't get that quick dagger, because of course he's been playing support for the top lane, just trying to get anti-mage farmed up. And this is going to be, guys, I'm going to tell you now, just get ready for the long haul. This game is unlikely to take a really aggressive turn. We have two of the hardest, nastiest right-click late game carries in the game. It is anti-mage versus Morphling, so we're not going to see a lot of pressing, a lot of pushing around. We've had it a little bit down in the bottom lane. I think it's just mostly because they had the opportunity to press in there with a wave, but at the same time, it looks like Windrunner has found a bit of an opening. Kabu, though, trying to tank a lot of the creep damage, allowing his Kraken Shell to absorb a lot of damage, just keeping the firepower off the tower. But Sheever, looks like we've got a gank on mid possibly. QQQ with his level 2 Sanking heading towards mid.
Yeah, he's just a burst strike away from getting moved, but he will be doing that, but just so he gets the No! Queen of Pain picked it up instead! He's gonna throw out a shout. Here comes King J, able to maybe help out. There's actually a sentry ward. They want to go for this, and he will go down. Burst strike to finish the job. QQQ picking up the kill. Fast reaction from the sentry ward, making sure that they got that kill secured. Not something that Queen of Pain was expecting, was hoping for. And you just said that we might see a very long game. I think if TongFu gets the edge with the team fights, we might see a 35-minute game. That's my call. Just before anti-mage gets full inventory, and when Morphling is actually ready to join in more team fights. Cupid Cat in a lot of trouble, gets a net on her, already used her Windrunner. Ravage being used once again to kill off this Windrunner, and it's Chen this time that picks up the last hit. I do believe that is about the same thing that happened the previous time that Windrunner died on this bottom lane, because then again Ravage was used. And well, Thailand's actually using Ravage here, it's good to get a kill, but that also means that we're not going to see a massive team fight coming up from TongFu just yet. Telekinesis, Kaboo, a lot of trouble. Tower is about to go down soon too, though. He's looking for it. Gosh, is he going to have enough mana? Yes, he is. Hand of God going through. QQQ on the chase, and he takes the kill indeed, as Rubik is now having to back off. He should be fine, though. The tower is not going to be fine. The tower is dead. It is the first tier 1 tower that drops. Tornado still going through. It looks like EHOME wants to continue going for this. Tidehunter will be sent home. We'll try to do something before he dies, or at least force them back slightly. And the rest of TongFu able to back off. EHOME not getting anything more out of that one. And just TongFu playing very secure. Good plays.
Indeed. Indeed, they're not really pressing that hard, but they said, we've got the opportunity to take one tower. Like you said, they dealt a lot of damage to the tower and said, well, you know what, Chen's here, he's got a Dark Troll Wall, we can spawn some skeletons, why not just take a run on this, and we can also pick up a hero while we're here. They're also just going to press up on the top tower, because at the moment, EHOME, they're just giving them room to move around at the moment, although it looks like QQQ going to swing in from behind. They might be able to make... Oh no, they're not going to be able to make anything happen. Anti-Mage has absolutely no mana, and Rubik's a little bit too far away. Rubik, though, going for a fairly standard build there, just going 2 in Telekinesis, and then 3 in his Fade Bolt. I actually saw yesterday some of the Rubiks were going for only 2 in Telekinesis, maxing Fade Bolt, and then starting to get levels in Null Field, just for that extra protection in the early phase of the game. Yeah,
that wouldn't be a bad choice though, but since Queen of Pain is not roaming around all that much, they don't have to worry about her that much with that Sonic Wave, even though, I mean, she had a good mid lane, and we do see her now on a different lane than when she started out, but this is actually the first time that she left her lane. So they don't really need to worry all that much, so the null field is not yet needed. Later on it will be very useful, of course, also because of the Ravage. It will be a great spell to have versus the lineup of TongFu, versus the team fight potential of TongFu.
We see How getting aggressive there, just trying to force Landham back. Landham has gone for Tranquil Boots. Has gone for a very cheap build there. I'm just going to see what he goes for first, whether or not he'll try for the Battle Fury to keep accelerating his farm, or if he'll do something early like a Vanguard just to get something really defensive in there. As it looks like, wow, Sanshing does need to be careful. QQQ is there, although he is going to go in. He's going to go after How. I don't think this is going to be any potential for a kill. In fact, this could actually go really badly for QQQ, although this is going to wait for him out. There is the Ravage popping down. Landham some serious trouble. King J getting taken out by that How there, and Landham blinking away in the nick of time. He should be able to escape there. Another Burrow Strike through from QQQ. Going to try and escape in the opposite direction. There's Chen popping Hand of God, and another waveform forwards. QQQ trying to deny himself to creep, finds nothing there, and is not denied, just gets taken out. QQ, no, How got the kill.
Double kill for How even, so definitely someone you don't want to have those skills up, and a fight in favor of TongFu once again, and that was that Ravage used. That was that pressure that I was talking about. TongFu, now that they took the team fight, they're gonna take the tower, or at least try to. Kabu is so tanky that he can tank up the tower for a while without being all too worried. And that's Sand King, by the way. He is level 4. If you're talking about team fight versus team fight, Sand King needs those levels, and level 4 Sand King versus a level 10 Tidehunter, I know who's gonna win. With almost a level 2 epicenter, or sorry, level 2 ultimate for Tidehunter, with not even one epicenter for the Sand King, is just very difficult for EHOME right now. They need some levels up on those supports.
I think the thing that's hurting Sand King the most now is just the level 2, not so much the lack of epicenter, it's just the level 2 stun, because he hasn't really got a lot of opportunities to get off a good epicenter anyway right now, but the level 2 stun sucks. The range is barely better than a level 1 stun, so he really needs to get those levels up just to max Burrow Strike. Once he gets it up and running, he's going to have a lot more opportunities to get aggressive. See Queen of Pain diving in the trees, she's going to teleport away, we'll be able to escape from that top lane. But this just comes down to how TongFu laned. By splitting up, using that jungle, they just tap more sources of experience, more sources of gold, and they spread it around. So we've got, he's much better leveled. Much better leveled here. Also, the other thing is, I think Celine, the Windrunner, hasn't really been showing up to anything. She's sort of been sitting in this bottom. I don't think she was at that top fight, was she?
No, don't think she was. Nah.
Yeah, so they're definitely playing understaffed at the moment. It looks like X is just going to get harassed back there. But TongFu is saying, well, if you're not getting your rest, we're just going to sort of press in. And every time they've got Ravage up, like you said, they really do have a better teamfight potential than EHOME right now. And it is causing some issues, definitely.
Yeah, Ravage, talking about Ravage, 20 seconds until it's up again. So we might see a fight again. If they want to go for a fight in the mid lane, though, they need some support next to that Tidehunter. But there's actually 3 heroes of EHOME here. So they might want to go for that. And 3 heroes, of which 2 are level 5. So a good possibility at that. And there's actually people coming in from the side. It's going to be Awoken, Sunshine. Do they want to try to take this? A ward being placed here by the Radiant, so they do see everybody there. They saw the Rubik on the mid lane. Do they want to continue going there? Wow, look at that army of the Chen, actually, having the Troll Warlords with a lot of skeleton warriors there as well. If they take this team fight, if they win a team fight, there's going to be a tower going down, because that pushing power is just too much to deal with. That Tidehunter, he's just farming, right clicks on Invoker coming in, he doesn't care. Just standing there.
Yeah, of course, it's not an exotic Invoker, so it doesn't do that much damage. Of course, he does have, he has a max Kraken Shell. That is somewhat unusual. I suppose it was because he's doing a solo lane, so he has plenty of extra levels, lots of extra experience, and of course, he was soloing versus Windrunner, and having extra levels in Kraken Shell really would have helped him go 1v1 with her.
Yeah, and that proves as well. I mean, he got 2 kills on the Windrunner. That is actually the 2 last hits that he has. Well, one of them is actually Windrunner, the other one is one of the top lane. But yeah, looking good for TongFu, still very strong. I mean, look at the gold difference. The kill difference is only 2. The tower difference is only 2. But the gold difference is almost 5k gold in favor of TongFu, with the experience difference in their favor as well. Is just very strong. And now actually there looks like EHOME might want to go for that. We saw the counter ward being done by the Dire side as well, by the way. So the ward that we just saw placed by the Radiant already got countered. Cold Snap on Tidehunter, level 2 Ravage is there.
Yeah, the gold difference really doesn't shock me. A couple of extra towers, and of course the jungle. The junglers are a big thing. At the early game, you will have a good gold advantage just if you are tapping the jungle, which they have been doing with Chen. Arguably, there has been a bit of jungle use by EHOME because their support's been pulling a bit, but it's obviously not as good as Chen, who does jungle relatively decently with his creep. It looks a bit of a smoke gank on bottom though, Sheever.
Indeed, there they go, and with the Troll Warlords there as well, they're gonna try to maybe have how bait something out. Windrunner being the only one there though, and there's gonna be a Demonic Purge there's gonna be a net, there's gonna be a Disruption, Soul Catcher, Weaveform, and that's a dead Windrunner. Morphling being able to pick up the kill, and it's gonna be a tier 2 tower going down there. It's just a very, I mean, Windrunner's the only one to defend there. She didn't leave her lane yet, as we discussed, and easy kill, easy tower.
I see in your chat channel, Megan Fox is asking, do the Stout Shield and Kraken Shell stack? No, they do not. In fact, if you look in the tooltip, it actually specifically says Kraken Shield does not stack with items that provide damage blocks. So the Stout Shield on Tidehunter at the moment is not actually doing anything. Tornado though, and EMP, there is a disruption though, a Burrow Strike through, and there is Shanshan getting insta-gived almost. Sand King is down though as well. Windrunner, Anti-Mage is dead too, big kill there, and Invoker goes down. This is a big win for TongFu at the moment. Can they keep pressing forward? Can they take out King J and get a team wipe? It's looking quite lucky, although King J throwing him into the trees. I think he was actually hoping to get him stuck in there. Unfortunately, the tree's getting cut down, but Moo will need to back off. Doesn't want to dive up into the enemy base with a Windrunner getting ready to shackle him there.
Yeah, and that was an initiation from EHOME. They had people TPing there. There was an invisible invoker coming in from the back. It looks very good, but then all of a sudden there was a Tidehunter there throwing down the Ravage and just making sure that that team fight got turned around so quickly. Anti-Mage just dropped where he stood. He was so squishy there. Not fun to watch for him, at least. We're gonna see a tier 1 tower as a result of that team fight. I mean, the tier 2 was already dead when the last CPs came in, so they already had that secured. And right now, that is something that EHOME just couldn't do. And by the way, they forced out that team fight, and the moment they did that, Sand King was still level 5, so no epicenter either. Maybe with that they would have been able to do something there, but they didn't have it. They just had the burst, like, and that is it. Not able to do enough to stop TongFu from going there, and gave TongFu a lot of kills. And we actually have Tidehunter picking up a 4-staff rather than saving up for a Blink Dagger. It's gonna be aggressive with that as well, I think, but not sure why.
Alright, Lavrel's asked me to clarify. Yes, alright, so technically the Stout Shield does stack with the Kraken Shell in a fashion. If you have level 1 or level 2 Kraken Shell, then if your Stout Shield procs, it will actually override the Kraken Shell because it procs more than a level 1 or 2. But because Kraken Shell procs 100% and it blocks more at level 3 and 4, when you get a level 3 or in this case level 4 Kraken Shell, it will always block more damage than the Stout Shield. So the Stout Shield essentially can't activate at this level, so he might as well just ditch the Stout Shield, to be dead honest, at this point in time. Yeah. But thanks to Lavrel calling that one out now in the AL channel there. But Sansheng now currently just warning the enemy jungle. I like this one there. It's just a slightly different place ward there, but it will keep a good eye on anybody trying to sweep in behind them or just move through that jungle. So they get a good idea if they get a good idea if anybody's moving through towards those hard camps to try and farm. They're also putting up this one up here. Those two wards actually share a little bit of vision, but it's not a big loss. It just gives them a lot of vision to make sure when they push this top tier tower, nobody's getting in behind them without a smoke. But they will just steal this tower, Sheever, and it looks like TongFu decided, you know what, they are actually going to get pretty aggressive. They've changed their mind.
Yeah, the Linkosphere is ready upon the Morphling. They're ready to fight. They feel like, okay, you know what? We have our Morphling who has an item up. We can take these fights. We have the momentum, and we're not gonna wait for your anti-mage to be big and tanky. Also, we're just gonna be able to take the fight now. And I do, like you said, I do love those wars. It just gives anti-mage no place to farm without TongFu knowing, apart from the Radiant Jungle if he really wants to go there. But it's just making it very hard for him. Anti-Mage, who's seemingly still building towards the Battle Fury, but it's already 20 minutes in, and his farm is just so far behind the Morphling. With not only tower gold, of course, that is a massive difference, but just also a bit of last hit difference. And it's actually How that's gonna try to go for him. Blink away from Anti-Mage, he will be fine. Morphling denying the tower that Anti-Mage was gonna go for, though. I'm not getting that 2400 gold already up on the Morphling, and look at net worth. Look at net worth, that difference is just insane. Over 10k over on How, with not even half as much on LAN on his anti-mage. Massive difference there, gold graph over 10k. Experience graph in favor of TongFu, obviously, and is just looking very good.
Not a shock at all. They have all of those extra towers. All the outer towers are down for EHOME, and EHOME have taken only 1 tower in turn. On top of that, he does have a good 30 extra creep or so. Also should mention that the Lincoln Sphere on Morphling is very unusual for the Chinese teams. They do not get a Lincoln Sphere very often at all. It may just come down to the fact that they tried it, I'm not dead sure, but this is definitely a very unusual item for them. Normally they just go, you know what, bottle, just crow it back and forth, no big deal. Don't really need this Lincolns. It's kind of it's a really inefficient use. But in this case, he said, you know, I'm gonna take it. And maybe this is because he's decided the 2 big stuns, Shackle Shot and Burrow Strike, he can dodge both of them if he's, well, at least dodge one of them with that link. I'm not sure, but he has decided to go for one, which is definitely something a little bit different from normal. But at the moment, though, TongFu are still pressuring this mid lane. When I said all outer towers, and I forgot about this mid one here, but I'll take that in just a second. So Morphing's network is going to jump even further.
Yep.
Up to, what is it? Oh, that's gold per minute. If I can just find the right one. Net worth 11k. Holy cow, that is nuts.
Insane. Of course, Anti-Mage now somehow getting some extra gold now as well, so having that, but because he started farming in the jungle. But still, it's looking grim. For EHOME to still be able to do something here, they really have to turtle this. They really have to be so careful about going out of their base, and if you're looking at going out of your base, you want to have map control, and map control is in hands of TongFu. Whoa, Blinking, 4-star Ravage, that's 2 down already. It's gonna be 3 in a moment. Invoker, Mechanism will be able to stay alive. He goes invisible, he should be able to stay alive. Windrunner might not be so lucky though. She's gonna try to TP out. Will there be an interruption? Yes, there will be. Penance, and that's a kill. Queen of Pain picking it up. 3 heroes down in a moment of seconds. Rubik and Sand King dropped so fast. The 2 heroes on level 7 that are up versus heroes that are all higher than them. I mean, the lowest level on TongFu is level 8, and that's only 1. The rest is higher than level 11. Massive difference there. And just tier 3 tower given away. Oh, the upside about being so low level, they were already back up without buying back. Can look at the positive things here.
Small victory deals. Looks like Moo, he's going to get locked down though, even with Hand of God. Cold Snap plus a Burrow Strike are too much for him. He buys back though, says, you know what, I'm back. I'm going to cause some damage. His ultimate, of course, is back up and ready to go, but he does have that Argonym Scepter, which is really making it pop out nice and quick. Moo's actually just going to make sure Anti-Mage gets no farm, can't even threaten this tower. He buys back and then immediately goes to defend. In fact, his buyback at this point in time is only 600-ish gold. It's very little in the grand scheme of things, considering how fast Queen of Pain, with this level of map control that TongFu are packing, how fast she can, she's got so much room to farm. So I think it was okay to buy back. Definitely not, it's not just an instant rage buyback there.
Nope. And I'm just watching Anti-Mage, because a moment ago we saw that Anti-Mage was at half net worth of Morphling. Right now, look at the difference. He has got his Battle Fury. And that will mean a big change in the gold graph. And that will mean the start for EHOME to be able to do something back here. They still need the levels on their supports. That is still very important. But their Anti-Mage at least is getting there. And right now it's rather fast and rather than slowly but steadily. Kaboo is being blocked inside a telekinesis shackle. Is he gonna drop here? Wow, disruption helps him save his life for a moment longer. He will still drop though. Anti-Mage being the one to pick up the kill. Pick up the dominating streak kill to be exact. It's gonna be How on the run, being chased down by Lan, who's thinking, you know what, I can join team fights now too. But no. Oh, Sonic Wave, there goes the win for a nice pickup by the Queen of Pain there, helped out by the Adaptive Strike as well. We from through, it looks like TongFu wants to go for this, no Tidehunter, but who cares, they want to go kill off someone. Lan will be able to blink away, burns away the mana before he's able to do that though. Disruption, Soulcatcher, he should be able to blink away, there we go. Soulcatcher was actually on the Invoker, and oh, Sand King, 4-star forward, he is still alive. How is he still alive? 24 HP left on him. EHOME on the retreat. And they should be able to get away. And it was indeed the 4-star from Invoker that saved his life there. King J and X just in such a odd spot right now. I mean, they're so low level, so out-farmed, and they don't really have that much items. I mean, look at Sand King. He's got 1 Bracer, he's got a Magic Wand, and Boots. 24 minutes in. The same thing goes for Rubik, the exact same thing even though Rubik got a bit more gold in his inventory and he's got also a Teleport Scroll, but quite surprising at that.
It just comes down to the fact they weren't like their team hasn't been pushing towers. That's what it comes down for TongFu. They have their supports have so much extra money because all these outer towers are down. Gives them a huge gold boost, and as well as the fact that one of their supports was jungling, so he was actually picking up money. Whereas the Rubik and the Sankey, they were doing the classic hard support in a tri-lane. They were just ducking it. They were barely staying in the lane other than to harass, always just trying to pull and just get a little bit of farm with the creep there. But as it is, they just haven't been really paying nearly as much attention to their farm as the TongFu supports have. So, and it also, of course, the towers. The towers are a huge factor. And it really, I think, honestly, this is one of the big factors as to why the pushy metagame is so popular, because it really makes sure your supports get cash. They rarely wind up as super poor, super underfarmed heroes. As I saw, Morphling Sheever has just finished up a Mantis style that's being shipped out right now.
Nice, and he will need that for the next fight, because right now, I mean, if you look at the gold graph as well as the experience graph, is being kept even, which means that EHOME is holding their ground, which means they're on even foot again, which means that EHOME, if they last long enough, they will be getting back into the game, will be able to do as much damage. Wow, there goes Morphling, his Linkosphere doing the job, Telekinesis, or sorry, Fatebolt not hitting on him. Tower getting pressured still though. Where's the Anti-Mage? Can't he help out? Did they force out a team fight? QQQ, have we seen an Epicenter yet? Well, right now, Epicenter level 1 won't do that. My Telekinesis, Morphling. Stun locked onto the lower ground. They don't want him in his base. We still have Cabo. He's waiting for a 4-star Ravage. He's just standing there, getting ready for it. Here he goes. Or not. Nope. Oh, there he goes. Hand of God going through Ravage. No, he can't find it. That will then the last hit on the tower. EHOME, nice positioning,
Well,
but barracks still go down.
So much they can do about it. I mean, it's for the epicenter. I'm saying it's not a lot he can do without that blink dag. He just cannot go. If he goes in before they land a good before they land a good tornado, he'll just get hit by Ravage. If he tries to go in after the tornado, generally the fight has already ended for him, so it's just not been going all that well. The barracks are still up. There's the Ravage though, getting that off just before the tornado hits him. Fantastic result there for Kabu. This could have been an entirely different fight if he not managed to get up. Here comes the epicenter though, and it might be enough to take it out. How is it enough? One more hit. They do bring him down eventually. And somehow QQQ surviving that fight, and the barracks is still standing.
I don't know how that happened, because there was... I guess it was because TongFu decided, you know what, we're gonna fight heroes rather than the barracks. Because if they wouldn't have done their Ravage, those barracks would have died. If they didn't decide to take a team fight, that would have ended differently. And Morphling actually dying, that was the first time he went down so far. And this is EHOME, I mean, they're taking it back. The gold graph, experience graph are dropping again. Experience graph especially, because they're killing off heroes that are so much higher level than them that we see a massive drop back towards the 0 line, and it's Roshan that's going to be the reward for that team fight for EHOME. They want that Aegis up on the Anti-Mage, who's building towards his Manta style, and is building towards that Manta style very fast. Look at his gold, look at his net worth. Only 2k
away. As they say, the fun stops here. It's getting that point of the game where Anti-Mage starts really causing some havoc. And he's almost, I think, has he got his Manta style done? Yeah, it is done and dusted. It's on him right now. Manta style, Battle Fury, he is ready to really kick some ass.
Yep.
And I feel kind of sorry for, well, it's not so much you feel sorry for TongFu. The fact is, they have got a really good farm carry as well, but the net worth, it is only a 2k difference. Like you said, Anti-Mage, once he got that Battle Fury, the farm accelerated extremely quickly, plus they just won a really good team fight. But that said, any mistakes from here on out, it's going to cost. If EHOME make a single mistake here, they are probably going to lose Arax. Whereas, on the other hand, TongFu, they have a nice big buffer. They've got their towers up, although they did just lose their second tier bottom tower, but it is a safe lane. It will take a little while for those creep to push down there naturally. Although Anti-Mage has been counter-pushing down there quite a bit, so maybe he can get that lane pushed up, but we'll see. But I'm going to say this is going to be a pretty crazy leg up. I'm kind of betting we're going to go to about 50 plus minutes here if LANM can hold on. If LANM doesn't screw up, because it really does come down to him, he needs to stay alive and before everybody else. Because if he goes down early, if we see a burning where he just dives in and chokes and gets himself killed in a really stupid dive, then the game could end in a snap, where Morphling will just completely take over and kill everybody else. So
yeah,
I'm kind of hoping that. I really want to see a crazy buyback war.
That would be nice. But there's like two massive differences between the teams so far still, because they still have the Rubik and the Sand King very underleveled, very much not able to help with that team fight, because EHOME doesn't have that team fight just yet secured. And we have a semi-carry for TongFu on the Queen of Pain, who is actually building towards a sheep stick, something they desperately need. And for Windrunner, for Invoker, they're not doing that bad, but they are not worthy yet of the title semi-carry. They're doing what they can, but they can't really kill off heroes. And we actually have How popping his mad style. He just wants to go for the barracks. Not going to be able to get it though. He's going to be forced away out of the barracks, out of the fight. Well, there's the Ravage. How is still alive. Morphing into strength will get sent home. As Disruption puts him into a bubble, puts Anti-Mage into a bubble. He will blink after Sunshang though. Sunshang is gonna drop, I think, for sure. Yeah, but he is gonna be the only one so far, unless they are able to find someone else. And the barracks still stand. Good defense from EHOME and TongFu now knowing what they're up against. They can't just do this anymore. They could do this before. They could just walk in there, start a team fight. But right now, for them, it's starting to be chess. Like tactical decisions.
It's definitely becoming a little bit. Definitely becoming a little bit more difficult. QQQ landed, I don't think he actually hit anybody with that epicenter, and it just comes down to the fact that he doesn't have that blink dagger really, really wants, or at least Tynada opened up with a 4-staff instead, which it did allow him to get in like nice and close. He has been 4-staffing in to get some decent ravages off. It's just he needs to cover a little bit of ground with that, but of course Sand King needs to get a lot closer. And it's going to come down, maybe he can ask him, maybe they can coordinate a couple of 4-staff. Does Windrunner have one? No, she's still working on hers. But it's one of the things you can do. You could double 4-staff QQQ in if necessary to just try and close the gap. But as it is, I mean, the main hero they need to kill is Morphling, and he's pretty resilient anyway. Like, you saw him in the middle of that. He took the brunt of that fight, and they don't even have a pipe up and running as of yet.
No,
Once you get that pipe, it is really going to be difficult to bring him down.
That is definitely true. And what is Morphling gonna go for next? Is he gonna go for that that Eye of Skadi, which you thought he was, or is he actually gonna go for BKB? Because just now, he had the telekinesis, he had a shackle, he had like every disable there, and it was just too much. Cold Snap was there as well. It was just too much to deal with Anti-Mage. Wow. Was that all? Sun Shang, Shadow Demon versus Anti-Mage, and Anti-Mage gets forced back. What was that about?
Wait, where? What?
Sunshine picked up an invisibility rune and he found the anti-mage farming ancients, and apparently demonic purge, disruption, soul catcher almost got anti-mage down.
Remember, the tougher anti-mage gets, the more his illusions kick his own ass. So, and if he's already fighting if he's already fighting the ancients, then having the soul catcher damage amp on him, it can be really painful. He's just like, and the thing is, he doesn't know how many friends are close. It's like, screw it, this is not worth my time. Let me just back off and play it safe. Because if he dies, and at the moment he doesn't have buyback, so if he dies, it's gonna, like, basically he's level 19. If he dies, he's out for a good minute plus, and that's gonna be a huge window of opportunity for TongFu to take them. So even if he thinks he can kill Shadow Demon, it's like, well, the risk isn't worth it. The risk really just isn't worth it.
Nope. And he's gonna actually pick up a BKB. He's already got his Minthrow Hammer, just 50 gold away. Well, actually, that's a lie. He has his recipe if he wants to. He's farming so insanely fast right now, and his net worth is almost close to that of Morphling. And he is gonna surpass him the longer the game goes, because that's just Anti-Mage, able to farm so fast. For TongFu, their window of opportunity for Morphling outshining the Anti-Mage is almost closing. BKB, and with the BKB, Anti-Mage on top.
Ooh. Oh boy, this could be trouble indeed. We've got to remember though, Morphling does have a couple of tricks up his sleeve. The fatter the Anti-Mage gets, the more Morphling can work against. Of course, he can spawn an illusion off Anti-Mage and get it to hammer him instead. It is actually pretty painful. I hear Disruption as well as the ultimate go down. This is a Ravage coming. There's not a fantastic Ravage there. There was nobody to work off it, even though it hit a lot of heroes. BKB from the Anti-Mage, and down it goes QQQ. There was a stolen Ravage. King J got a Ravage. Counter-attacks there, and now TongFu, I think, are being forced back as this Anti-Mage goes down, although they did lose QQQ along with Celine. The Windrunner has been taken out, but they are definitely forcing back this if he lands that Mana Void, Queen of Pain is toast. Doesn't quite get it again.
He will still die though. There we go. And he doesn't even need a Mana Void. One more right click to do the job. Was close a couple of times though, and 2 for 2 with Rubik. Actually, I mean, he is under leveled, yeah, but all he needs really is a spell steal. Preferably on the Ravage, which he just did. Quite impressive to get that. And taking a reward. Tier 1 tower drops more gold towards EHOME as Anti-Mage and Morphling still in the battle for more gold. And actually we were wrong. Morphling picked up a Eagle Song, so either Butterfly or steal his Ethereal Blade. I think Ethereal Blade would be a bit slow though, even though he might just think that he might be able to kill off the Rubik and the Sand King fast enough. That would be worth it to get some fast kills. But if he's going for an Ethereal Blade, only 500 more gold to go. Otherwise, Butterfly still a bit more to go for that. But no Skadi just yet for How, who is continuous farm. He could have an Ethereal Blade now if he wants to. We'll know shortly.
I honestly would prefer to see the Butterfly in this case. I just feel that, especially with an amount of, like, they have a fair amount of innate magic resistance anyway, so I don't think the Ethereal Blade would be that awesome. Although, you're right, they could instantly blast down Rubik. It is definitely a possibility. I really feel in this late game, they just need to go toe-to-toe with the Anti-Mage. It really is going to come down to that. So he's going to want that Butterfly. The Butterfly will be more effective in that case. And we've got to remember that Morphling does have a bit of an event. Like, he's a lot harder to kill in some respects because he does have Chen backing him up. Chen, of course, with his Arcanum Scepter on his ultimate, does give him a lot of effective health, plus the mech there as well.
Yeah, and that's probably why I think we're going to see Anti-Mage going for a heart next. And I have to say, with the amount with the speed that he is farming with, he's going to have that fairly soon for the next team fight, I think. And right now, indeed, long game incoming. Very long.
Although, at the moment, Anti-Mage, he doesn't even really need to save for buybacks all that much. He does have and Aegis, so he's not too concerned about that. Of course, that's one of the downsides to Morphling at the moment. It's getting to the point in game where he's pretty much stuck. He does need to keep cash aside for buybacks, because it's getting to the point in game where Anti-Mage can blast down these towers so quickly that he can actually just, even though they have this buffer here, it's not really going to help all that much just because of the rate that they can destroy them.
Definitely. I think
it's also going to come down to the farm on the other heroes.
Yeah, as well as Roshan, which is 1.5 minutes away from spawning. So that's going to be the next fight, I think. And Morphling indeed completing his butterfly now. And he is going all in. Who cares about buybacks? He is going all in, and hopefully for him counting on that Roshan, which EHOME is already also setting up for slightly by counterwarding the counterwards, because there was a counterward, but they just counterwarded it with the Gem of True Sight on the Windrunner. And they will be
definitely a good idea to prep for this Roshan, because you're right, they will be a big contesting point. Of course, EHOME's slight advantage being the dire side. It is one of those generally accepted things that they do have a bit of an advantage when it comes to fighting over the Roshan pit, just because they have more space to hide. Do we have a Blink Dagger and Senki? No, he's just going, screw it, I'm getting a million braces because I just need to be a little bit tougher. Uh-oh, Lanham dumping into the middle of 4 heroes, gets disrupted. There is a Ravage though. Kabu diving into the middle of the Hand of God being popped by Chen. Here comes the EMP, Buffeting Blast, not doing a whole lot there. X trying to dive in there. He's not taking too much damage. Anti-Mage down, but he's still got that Aegis just in time, losing it. That ticker has almost finished for Roshan. Lanham is back, but it looks like he's in retreat. They've already lost Sanking. They've already lost a Windrunner. Lanham, can he blink away? Gets away once more. They don't have any hexes left or anything to try and bring it. In fact, I don't think they've got any hexes so far on the team besides Queen of Pain. It was 5 seconds away also, and this could be the window of opportunity that TongFu want. Are they going to press forward for the Rax? Although it is back up to full health, they might just turn around and go, no, they're not going to go for Roshan. They are going forwards, going to try and take this Rax, although there is only, well, Sand King's back, and Windrunner's up in 15 seconds. They might just go for Roshan instead, Sheever.
Yeah, Sand King's back purely because he is still level 11, so, you know, he's dead for such a short time, and Roshan is indeed back up. It doesn't look like they're going for it just yet. They don't have a Ravage anymore, and it looks like EHOME, they would punish them for it if they indeed went for that, and they are gonna give Lan the Aegis again. And also he is going for a butterfly. He doesn't want a heart, he wants a butterfly. And also he going all in, no buyback on the Anti-Mage.
I think he's probably planning to get this Aegis in just a second anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal, but here comes Mu. He's going to get the ult in, it drops the ult, that does critical damage to X. A Hex on Lanham, gets bashed as well by Roshan. There's a Ravage again from, that wasn't Kabu's Ravage, I think Rubik managed to steal that Ravage again, as it looks like they're going to dive through there, and it looks like Lanham gets toasted. They're going to steal the Aegis. Does he have, and like you said, he doesn't have a buyback. Sheever, I think this is a guaranteed Rax right now.
Definitely. The tier 3 tower in the mid lane is already down. The only thing that they don't have is creep waves, and that might take too long for them. Even though it's 70 seconds without an anti-mage, that's quite a long time. They will have to deal with a Windrunner and a Rubik soon again. Two heroes that are pretty good at counter pushing, and in that fight it was actually a double kill for How, a double kill for Queen of Pain. Did Invoker buy back? Ah yes, he was the one that bought back, and they're just gonna, who cares about backdoor protection? They just want to go for the barracks. They have the damage to do so, and they will be able to take it down. Range barracks is gonna be next, and there's nothing that EHOME can do against this, nothing at all, and they back off again. Everything is peachy, everything is fine. Kabu TPing out, and they are back home safely.
Yeah, massive blow against EHOME. Unfortunately, just going for that Roshan was not fantastic. And in the end, they got picked off. And like you said, he was going, well, Lanham was going at being aggressive, getting risky, not saving for that buyback, just buying up. And in the end, it really did cost him. It cost him that mid-rax, not being able to get him back into the fight there. As King J, unfortunately, still also very poor. The two hard supports in EHOME so poor, they have absolutely nothing. You see the supports on the Dice, on the Radiant side, they actually have stuff, as we see Shadow Dim finally finishing up a 4-star, although he's had a few small items. The main thing is the fact that Shen actually managed to pick some farm up. He's had a mech, he's had arcane boots, he's had that Arcanum Scepter, so good for his team, makes his entire team so hard to get rid of. I really like the fact that they were able to pull that out. This is why I really don't like the really hard support trilines. I think this is really why they've fallen out of favour, just because as soon as something goes wrong, your supports are just such a non-factor in this game. Yep. Imagine how different this could have been if Sankey had actually picked up a little bit of farm and actually gotten that dagger to get into the fights with this epicenter. This could have been so much better for EHOME.
Definitely, and yeah, that's the massive difference of having a tri lane versus a tri lane that actually has a jungle hero in it that can farm on itself, that is not reliant on a lane to get farm. And EHOME is paying for it hard. Rubik and Sand King is just level 11s, bracers all around, and that's about it.
Should mention that Kabu has picked up a Blade Mail. He's just going, you know what, Anti-Mage, you don't want to touch me. I'm just going to make you hurt yourself. And it looks like TongFu, they're just gonna chill out for a second, get a little bit of farm, as it looks like Morphling is going for the Skadi in the end, Sheever. I see a pair of Ultimate Orbs being picked up.
Yeah, and again, all in. Now he has the Aegis, so now he actually has a reason to be all in. But he doesn't care about buyback so far. The only one with the buyback is the Queen of Pain. And she has her Sheepstick. I'm quite curious to see what she's gonna go for next. She has her Aghanim, she has her Sheepstick. She's kind of done. She doesn't need more, in theory. This is a good Queen of Pain as it is. And they smoked up looking for a kill. They're gonna find Rubik. Rubik actually, blinks away. It's gonna be a Piglet Invoker though. He's gonna be the target here. We from through 4-staff will be enough. Another 4-staff. Nice shackle up on Kabu. He can't do anything here. He'll get his mana burnt as well. As the Invoker still goes down to Queen of Pain coming from the side, blinking, screaming, and a kill being done. I wonder why they're still going to the middle lane. Because they already had the middle lane, but maybe they just, they're gonna rotate top. They don't have a creep wave though. This is gonna be with backdoor protection still being there, but once again, a fortification will help out. Quite an early fortification for when you're up for his backdoor, but Star will still drop. And it's gonna be a barracks double drop as well, and that is gonna be 2 sets of barracks down for TongFu. I would not be surprised if EHOME calls this and thinks, you know what, you win, but they're not giving up just yet, because Anti-Mage bottom lane, wow, missed that one for a second. Anti-Mage killing off the sets of barracks there by himself. He doesn't care about the team fight top, now he's TPing there. Nice shackle upon Tyler. He still has his Ravage though, he wants to use it, but BKB on Anti-Mage will make sure that he doesn't do it just yet. He gets harassed, and there's the Blade Mail, and there's the Ravage. Hits on 2 still, QQQ and Cupid Catch. QQQ is back, and Ravage got stolen, got used against all 4 heroes. Anti-Mage in the mix, gets a double kill. Queen of Pain down, Tidehunter down, gonna go for Sunshang. Woke will try to TP out, will not be able to do so. Boar Strike stopping him in his tracks, will get picked up, and Anti-Mage on the chase for Sunshang. If they get that kill, that will be massive. That will mean that, do they get that kill, triple kill for the Anti-Mage, that will mean that it is still semi-even. I mean, I do like that that is actually the bottom barracks that dropped here on the TongFu side, which means that there is actually an advantage for EHOME on that lane. I mean, they might be at a disadvantage at 2 lanes, but rather than putting 1 lane at an equilibrium, they choose to go for an advance in a different lane, which is, I like that. I like that a lot.
I really feel they picked that lane mostly because there wasn't a second tier tower up, but it's the only lane that doesn't have a second tier tower, so
but still,
I feel that's probably the reason they went for it there.
One.
Oh yeah, definitely. As Hao actually in a spot of trouble. No, he should be able to get away from this. I don't think Anti-Mage can. Actually, he has a pretty high mana pool. Mana Boy could actually do quite a bit, but Landon now getting hexed. This is a problem though. The damage from the illusion's doing so much, and they are actually going to chase him right in the base there. Landon is going to have to retreat in the end. But Tidehunter will be up in a second. I've got to say, Rubik, he has stolen 3 Ravages this match. That's not a bad effort. It's actually really hard to get your hands on Ravage.
And I think Kabu is just being sloppy with that anchor smash right afterwards. Because, like you said...
I saw. No, he did anchor smash. It was just that last fight, Rubik was sitting in the... Well, he wasn't in range of the actual Ravage itself, so he managed to pop it just as he went for the Ravage.
Nice.
I wouldn't blame Kabu. He has been on the ball with him. It's just that Rubik has been really, really slick.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised that EHOME didn't take the time to kill off the tier 2 that's standing there. But maybe next time TongFu is pushing in, they're gonna try to just go for the tier 4s and kill the barracks off, or kill the ancient off. But EHOME having to play it very safe again for a long time until TongFu is gonna be overextending again. They were kind of overextending. They went for the fountain kills and just got killed off instead. And their barracks dropped, so not a very great trade. While they could have just gone for the bottom tier 2s and tier 3s, and Hand of God going through. Why?
Why not? It's a 30-second cooldown. Just target him, so he doesn't really care too much.
He's probably just wanted to heal up his creeps.
Yeah, he's he should have it back by the time they clash. I feel like it's time for Boots of Travel on the Anti-Mage. He's gone for the Flame is offering. Okay, never mind. And again, this is the point of the game. This is where I agree not saving for the buybacks, because it pretty much is, you've got to go all in. They've got to make sure they need every edge they can get, because if they screw up here, well, it's game over anyway.
Yeah, Lucius doing a lot of damage already to the tier 3 tower there. And EHOME just waiting for an opportunity to go in because they don't want to fight in their own base, because that will mean that the barracks will drop. But then again, if they go in, there's a Ravage waiting for them. That's not something that they want to deal with as well, even though Rubik still has a Ravage as well. So something that they might be able to use also with a couple of 4-staff.
They are going to go in there. There's disruption. Ravage from the Tidehunter. Can Rubik respond? He's moving in now. Picks him up. He's going to go in. Pops his own Ravage. There we go. That's going to mess up TongFu. Anti-Mage still working his magic right now. Chewing through all this. Taking a lot of damage. QQQ actually gets off. An Epicenter that actually does something. A Woke about to go down as well. But Anti-Mage is dead. No buyback. And we've still got the Morphling just barely... Oh, he's got an Aegis. Never mind. This game is over right about now. Morphling is about to shred the Invoker. Shred the Celine's Goodnesses Cat. The Windrunner, and it's pretty much over. He's even got the Anti-Mage's Illusion, who is hitting pretty hard, I've got to say.
Yeah, definitely.
Those illusions are not fun to mess with.
And yeah, like you said, Age is still there, and there's not that much that EHOME can do against this right now. Like you said, they don't have a buyback. It wouldn't be worth it to have a buyback right now, even though one can argue that, I guess. But they can't do anything. It's gonna be the barracks. How is just not caring about going down to the creeps. He's actually welcoming it probably to be back on full HP and life again. Cupid Cat. Oh, I'm not sure if that 4-step was good. Nice shackle though. Power shot. Sun Sheng, will he drop? A couple more hits needed, but no, it is the Windrunner that drops. Drops her gem with it, and that is mega creeps for TongFu. That is the throne is already being aggressed by the other creeps coming from the other lanes, and that is going to be a GG being called by EHOME. And once again, TongFu taking the second match between EHOME and and TongFu, and getting 2 points at that.
That was definitely fantastic. This was a hell of a match. I've got to say, EHOME though, I really thought Anti-Mage could really bring this back for a second, but in the end, it just comes down to the fact that Morphling is he's on par with Anti-Mage in the late game. You can get him farmed up nice and heavy. Look at the creep score. Like, it's all of, what, 10, 20 creep in between. There is very, very little difference in the end. So, EHOME falling once again to TongFu. They're I'm going to say, put up a much stronger fight this time around.
Yeah, definitely. They looked a lot stronger than game number 1, but the team fight coming up from TongFu and just EHOME being crippled by the fact that they had 2 supports on solo level with no team fight of their own, it just it wrecked them up, and they weren't able to get back from it. That's how I feel, because Anti-Mage definitely got back from it. It just wasn't enough.
I see Philippakis saying last year's top 3 going out. I'm pretty sure this EHOME is not the same team that competed in the first international, so do keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure this is a mostly different team, if memory serves me correctly, because there was a disband from EHOME for a while before they came back to Dota 2. I think they're one of the few teams that actually play, Chinese teams that play exclusive Dota 2, but I should probably throw over you, Sheever, because you want to run that outro.
Yeah, I want to run their outro, and we're going to see which match is up next. Stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back.